Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. So we are still discussing statistical graphics, and in this tutorial we are going to discuss how we can plot functions. You realize in the other tutorials we were having a variable. Let's say we are having a variable x, or we are having a vector x, or given any data set, and we were to plot let's say a box plot, or a pie chart, or a histogram of that data set. But now in this case we will be plotting particular functions. That is, we can plot particular function instead of just having a data set or a variable to plot that function. So we can have a comment here and say plotting functions, like that. So you realize when we are given a function, we don't have we don't have to have a data set. We just need the function, and we can have a command to plot that particular function. All we need is just to specify the range of that particular function. For instance, we have a parabolic function, then we can easily plot that by just specifying the range and labeling the axis. So suppose, and I'll write this as a comment, we have a function y is equals to x squared. We have a function y is equals to x squared, and I want to plot that function in R. How am I going to do that? You realize this is the command I use. Number one, what you must take note is that the function is a curve. The function is a curve, not a straight line, and of course it is a quadratic curve. And because it is a quadratic curve, then we will use the command below. So curve, what is the curve for? It is the curve of x squared, comma, then what do I need to specify? The range. Let's say it is starting from negative 10 to let's say to positive 10, then I can go ahead and label the axis. So x lab will be, I'm labeling the x axis, let's say it's time, and I can as well label the y axis, that is y lab is equals to maybe, let's say, population size. So population size, like that. And then I will close my command, and when I run that command, the curve will be plotted. As you can see, it's a quadratic function. It's a quadratic function. We can even have the title at the top, and I know you guys can do it by simply having the main title here. On that command, we can add here and say main is equals to, and we give it a name. So let's say we call it quadratic curve, like that, quadratic curve. And we run the command, and you realize it is well labeled, and the title quadratic curve, the population size, and the time. So basically that is how we can plot a function. So suppose we can have another function. So let's say we have another function here. We can actually try to minimize this, and we have them just right here with us. So let's say we have another function y, and I'm writing this as a comment, y cubed, that is y raised to 3 plus 2x plus 3, and I want to plot that curve. You realize it is a cubic function. It is a cubic function because of the power 3 here, and because of that of course it's a curve, so I'll use the same function. So curve, and I'll say it is the curve of x raised to 3 plus 2 multiply by x, and remember we said in multiplication we'll be using the staring, multiply by x, then plus 3, like that. The same, I need to specify the range. So let's say it is starting from 0. So from 0 to, let's say 2 equals to 10. Let's say equals to 10. And I label the x-axis, that is x lab is equals to, I can simply call that x, and I can label the y-axis, y lab is equals to, let's say y, like that. Again, I can have a title at the top and say main is equals to, we can say cubic function, we can say cubic function, we can say cubic function, and I plot. And you realize when I plot, I have my cubic function like that. When I plot, I have my cubic function like that. Again, we can have another function. We can have another function. Let's say we have the exponential function. We can have an exponential function. That these warnings is because of the package, but like we said, we will be covering the packages and we'll be doing that. So suppose I have an exponential function. Let's say I have y is equals to exponential rise to x, exponential rise to x, like that, and I want to generate the curve. You realize still it is also a curve, so I'll use the function curve, and this time round is an exponential, so exponential of x, like that, and I can specify the range, that is from let's say 0 to let's say 10, like that. I can go ahead and label the x-axis and say x lab is equals to, let's say time, x lab is equals to time, and I can have the y label, that is y lab is equals to, let's say population size, I can have the main title and say main is equals to exponential function, exponential function, like that. And with that, I run the function, and you realize the exponential function is well plotted. The exponential function is well plotted, as you can see here, well labeled as population size and time. So we can plot various functions. We can plot various functions. All you need to do is simple to specify the range. You can as well label the axis and plot the function. So with plotting function is simple as that. Let's meet next time when we will be discussing data entry in lists and data frames. Have